Hello and welcome to my desk. My name is Lena. Well, it is World of Watercolor Month. Yoo-hoo! So I thought that I want to make a little video just about swatching. And you might think like, oh, yawn, that's so boring because you're like used to make your own colors and, you know, mix and match. But in case that you're not, then this video might be worth watching. I just watched Jane Davenport introducing a color catalog, which is, I think, a super cool idea. You know, have some sort of place where you have a collection of swatches of your stash. That's also a nice tool if you can take out the individual sheets so that you can have a reference swatch to each item that you're working with. So her color catalog is just super awesome, and I love that it's not a spiral bound book, but it's like inserts that are removable. I've been watching her videos and it inspired me to do my video here. So because I'm jumping right off her video, I wanted to do my swatch video using one of her palettes, the Layercake Rainbow Cake palette, because I want to show you how you also can have fun with swatches and might include those pages as reference to your swatch catalog. I think before I start, I want to talk about limitations. Like, let's just pretend that I just bought this as a brand new palette and I got to get to know it through swatching. First of all, the first limitation that I bump into is that I cannot mix my way to the primary colors. And the primary colors are the yellow, the red, and the blue. So just because yellow and red gives orange doesn't mean that because I have an orange that I can swatch my way back to a red color. It doesn't work like that. So in this case here, I got some limitations because as far as I can see, beside these primary right here, I got some step out, some variations. In this one here, I got some more blues, but the blues look like none of them are phthalo blue. So it's more like a warm blue that I have. And this one here is a little bit interesting. It could be made out of a phthalo blue, but I'm in doubt. And then I have a yellow in this one here that looks like a lemon yellow, cool yellow. And lucky me, I got a warm yellow. So on the yellow side, I'm kind of sure that I got a warm and a cool. On the red side, I only have a warm red. On the blue side, so far it looks to me like I only got warm blues. So already there I have a limitation that I will not be able to swatch, to mix and swatch all sorts of colors, because my toolbox is lacking some colors. The second limitation is fluorescent colors like neon and like super bright colors like the opera pink. I think that could classify as some sort of a fluorescent or a neon. There's something in it added that makes it a neon. And I don't know what that component is, but it sure is not in this palette here. So getting this palette, I know from the start that I cannot get fluorescent or neon, like super bright pinks. And then let's talk about the black. This palette comes with a white right here, and of course I can mix a dark by mixing these colors here together, but will I be able to get like a lamp black? That is also the question. And I find that with most palettes that doesn't have like the 6 primaries, a warm and a cool of the yellow, the red and the blue that it sometimes can be difficult to get a real black. So just have that in mind when we start. Well, I love the idea that Jane present with a color catalog consisting of these plastic sheets where you can slide in a swatch sheet and you can take it out again if you need to. So I'm setting this up with that in mind, you know, with loose sheets. And one thing that I learned painting with oils is that it doesn't pay off well if you have to mix colors, to be stingy with squeezing out oil on your palette, because if you squeeze out some frugal small dollops, then you are refrained from just jumping into an adventure of trying to mix and hit a specific color, because you will run out of paint. So I think the kind of thing that I can transfer to this is that don't run out of paper when you're doing swatches, because you may think it's cool to have your swatches of a palette in just one sheet, but I'm telling you guys, the more paper you have to play on, the more adventurous you can get, and the more mixes you will try out. So those swatch cards where you see that people have swatched out their colors in the top, and then in the bottom they have maybe some primary colors that they're putting together, and then they have a lot of dabs here and there of mixes they made, but it's tough for them to navigate when they revisit the swatch card what the heck they mixed, you know. So my idea is that you take a small sheet and then you put a square on the top, and that will represent the pan that you're investigating. So here's my idea. You take, in this case, this purple right here. So whatever is on this sheet, purple is the main ingredient, and I got purple on my brush here. And then this palette also comes with a white, so we can make a pastel version of this purple. And because I don't want to keep digging into this white and keep, you know, so close to the blue, I just took a generic white pan from another of Jane's set. So I can have a bigger palette to pick from. Then I would take some white and then start making my pastel tone. And I would place it underneath. Oh my god, look how beautiful that is. And you can, like, immediately, if you got a lot of Jane's palettes, you will be able to recognize that some of these colors that we are mixing our way to are represented in other of her palettes. So this drill right here might even convince you a little bit about, do you need to buy all the palettes? What I'm doing right here is called a step out, where you keep adding more and more white to your swatch here until you end up with almost the color white. So this should be like a brighter pastel version. And this, what I'm picking up here, is the ultimate pastel. You know, like, it doesn't get sheer or whiter than this. So look at that, isn't it beautiful? Love that you get all that variation just because she included a white pan into this palette here. And then on to the next color. It's this. Up in this square here, I'm just painting it in mass tone. And then I have this residue on my brush. So now I'm gonna try and see what happens to this color when I introduce some white to it. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a pink tone. Lucky us, right? Because we like to use pink. So you can actually get a very sheer pink. And let's take the ultimate brightest pastel pink that we can get. It's super soft. That is so nice. And then you actually just continue down your palette. I only have like 8 colors to swatch, so don't worry, it's not gonna take like forever. And now for the red. Oh, this is a beautiful red. Very strong red. So can't wait to see what that's gonna look like in pastel. I'm confessing, this is the first time that I'm swatching out this thorough with this palette. I haven't done this. I just got inspired by watching Jane's color catalog video. Oh my god, this is gonna be beautiful. Yeah, look at this. That is a beautiful blush color. Wouldn't you agree? Let's put in some more white. See how sheer can it get? Wow, a very delicate light pink. But different in tone than the other pinks. So that's likable. Okay, I'm moving on to the orange. I'm having 2 rinsing jars, one for dirty and one for clean, because you're gonna mess up your rinsing water so fast if you only use like 1 jar. Oh, this is such a beautiful cream color. Who knew? I honestly wouldn't have predicted that it would create such a cream, light cream, like the Naples yellow, peachy kind of color. I think this could mix into a good skin tone with a little bit of red added to it. Which is a surprise for me because I would never go for orange when I had to mix the skin tone. Oh my god, look, when you put a lot of white, you know, do the complete step out, you almost get like a sheer Caucasian skin tone. So if you're in a hurry and need a skin tone fast, this palette doesn't really have the pre-mixed skin tones. That is a good way of getting that. Okay, I'm just gonna clean up this palette here. I'm just using a tile as a mixing palette. The yellow I got in two versions. I got this one right here. And then I got the lemon yellow. So I'm just putting them on the same sheet. The reason why I'm using two brushes when I dip into the white is because I am a bit clumsy, so I probably would contaminate my white a bunch. Oh my god, it's beautiful. It's like a bumblebee yellow. Oh, that's nice. Super nice. I think I can already predict how it's gonna look if I do the last step out. Yeah, this is super nice. It's like a cream white with a yellow tint to it. The last, almost like a Titan buff. So that's super nice. Okay, let me see if I can pick up that lemon yellow without picking up some of the green also. I call it lemon yellow. I forgot what she's calling it. She's got really creative names for all her colors, but I am not trained in calling those names out because I don't refer to them with those names. I'm more looking at what color it is, you know. Oh yes, that's likable. You can definitely tell that you got different yellows, like a cool and a warm. Yeah, I really like this a lot. I don't know if you even can tell. It's very sheer. Sometimes we need those sheer colors. I wish the camera would pick it up. And now for the green one, and we got 3 different greens. First we got this one here. And I'm trying to be really thorough rinsing off my brush so I don't have carry on some pigments from one swatch to another. Yeah, this one gives like this very minty, delightful green. Super cute pastel. Is it important with the last step out where it's almost white? I don't know. I just think that it helps me to look at the possibilities. Because I think in some palettes I get drawn to like a robin's egg blue color, and that makes me purchase the whole palette, even though I know that it's just basically blue mixed with white. But for some reason it's like the thing that sells the palette for me is, for instance, one single pan in a palette. So that's why I try to give myself the 3 variations. This is a very yellow green. It's gonna be exciting to see how it shows up with the white. It's nice. I know it looks neon. It's not neon. It's not. I don't think with black light that this would be fluorescent, but it's super bright. You can do this drill that I'm doing right here with gouache also, if you have gouache, so you can see the full color spectrum of what you bought. This is the darkest green in the palette. I think it wants to dress up as a viridian, but it's not quite a viridian. So let's see what happens when we make a pastel tone out of that. OMG, that is so beautiful. Almost like a sea glass teal kind of vibe over it. Let's get more white into this. Yeah, this is fun even for me, mostly because I have not been doing this swatching before. Yeah, you know, when I'm done with this, I'm gonna dig out all my JD palettes and see if I could have mixed everything from her other palettes just with this one palette alone. That could be super interesting, right? Look at that. Okay, hands down, this in the palette looks like nothing, right? But then if you're mixing it in with white, it suddenly becomes a deal breaker. If I saw this bright color in a Paul Rubin tube set or something, I would definitely want to buy it just because of that one color. That's how I am. That was the green. Now comes this one. It's kind of tealish, teal. So we are expecting something beautiful out of this also. Oh, hello, Robin Egg Blue. That is likable. I like that. Yeah. Can you see painting macaroons with these? And I can even get it all the way out to like a sky blue. That's likable. I really like that. And then we have the last color. I found out that this blue is the same blue that's in this stripe right here. So I only have two blues, which is this one and then the center stripe on the pan right there. Wow. It packs a punch. Oh my god, hands down, this is a beautiful blue. Beautiful. I'm just gonna wipe off this palette here. Get myself some space. Is it a waste of paint to sit and swatch like this? I don't know. If you're like super skilled and already know how to mix colors, it probably is. But you know what? I think it's worth it because if it makes you explore some new colors, then it's a good thing, right? Then it wasn't like a waste of paint. Let's add in some white to this. But I have to say, sometimes when I'm watching people swatch on a video on YouTube, and I see how they are making a good indent in their new palette just because they wanted to swatch out everything, I am sometimes thinking that, oh my god, there was a lot of paint to use just for swatching. But I think it got its value if you really want to get to know your palette and also give you this chart so you can see what's possible for you to create of colors. See, now it's getting a little bit interesting. Now we can see on the swatches, it kind of reveals that this pigment right here is the same they used to create this teal pigment, because on the step out down here they are totally similar. Also here there's just a little bit more blue in this one and maybe a little bit of green added to this one. So that was actually interesting, you know, that we kind of learned that that is not a phthalo pigment, that's a warm blue pigment. And now for the center, which is also a warm color. Is it good or bad that there are so many warm colors in this palette here? I would say it might be a good thing, because then you're most likely not making a bunch of mud when you are mixing the colors together. Like sometimes if you take a warm and a cool color and mix it together, you don't get like a clean mix. Like you get a little bit of a muddy purple and a muddy orange, you know. But if you take the matching colors in temperature, you sometimes get a better result. Yeah. You know what we are learning right now? We are learning right now that that light blue in the center here is just a step out of this one. Step out means that it's just this one added white. Because my swatches are the same. It's just the concentration of white that's, you know, doing the difference. We can actually test it. Like if I do like this, and then swipe up more of that and put here, you can kind of immediately see that that's the exact same color. So in retrospect, it would have been better if Jane had just given us a complete white pan right here, because with that white we could have made the two colors right there. So that's how, you know, learn when you start swatching up. Okay, I'm gonna clean this mess up and then we're gonna play with the colors, and this is where I think it's gonna be interesting. Okay, I'm gonna take all my swatches and then we're gonna pick Jane's palettes and see already now, just by adding white, what colors you know, I don't even know how to talk. What colors? Okay, we're just gonna show it. This is the food truck palette, and then I'm just gonna look. Like this lavender here is pretty close to these lavender here, and I also find that that green, light green mint is represented up here. Like it's super close. And then I can also see that the light yellow, might just be this yellow added white, I think we already got here. This is the most interesting color, because can it be the same pigment as this one here? I'm not sure. And then we have this color right here that could be one of these colors here. You know, you can mix your way to that color. So yeah. Just by adding white, right? I'm also looking at other palettes, and I seem to recognize in the red these blush colors here. That might be that one right there. So Yeah, let's go forward with our little swatching here. But I wouldn't be surprised if you, out of the Rainbow Cake palette, actually can create the majority of the pans that are in the other pan sets. But yeah, that shouldn't be a mystery because they do say that out of the 6 primary you can create all the colors, right? Okay, let me start playing with this purple color here. And what I do is that I'm thinking what would be fun to mix it with. I think it would be fun to mix it with this pinkish color here. So I'm picking up the pink and then I'm just laying down a dash of that pink and then the rest on the palette. And then I start adding in the purple to this to see what I get. And if it's not interesting like this, I think it's an okay color, but it's not like super interesting, then I start just playing with the amount of the new color that I'm mixing it with. Like, let's have a lot of this purple in the mix and less of a lot of this pink and less purple, and I can place it next to it. Okay, then I actually hit almost the same color, so I'm picking up a little bit more purple, I think. Oh, that was too much. Okay, back to the pink. But as you can see, you're just like playing with the colors until you get something that's significantly different. And I would say that this one right here is significantly different from that and the purple. It's like a different tone. And when you got that on your paper and you got it on your palette, immediately add white to it. So you can see what kind of pastel will that create. And the white, you just go downwards like step outs. Then you actually get a mauve color. It's a little bit similar to this, but it still is a little bit different. But it's nice to know that when you put those two colors together, the pink and the purple, you can get some new colors. I'm gonna put extra up here because I think this was a beautiful one. Now I'm gonna do the same but with the red. So I put a red dash here so I remember that it's the red color that I'm now playing with. And then I start putting in purple in it. Ooh, yeah. I get a really nice, almost like burgundy. Can you see that? This is super beautiful. I like that. Okay, I want to see how that looks with white added. So while I got it here on the palette, I'm gonna add the white underneath it. Now I want to play more with that color. What happens if I put even more red into it? I'm not sure that it shifted enough. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more of the purple. Oh my god, that is so beautiful. Look at that color right there. I hope that my camera picks it up. This is so beautiful. Like a whole different color. Immediately let's add white to that and see what we then get. like that. Okay, and now for the complementary color. The complementary color for purple is yellow, so we need to see what kind of darks can we get with this yellow added to the purple. So I'm gonna add yellow. I probably need a lot of yellow because the purple is so strong. And then I'm gonna start putting in the purple. Yeah, I need it. The purple is super strong. I need a bunch of yellow to start getting a neutral tone. Oh, here it is. Here we come. So when you put in the complementary color, you get this kind of neutral. Let's see if we can add a little bit more purple to that and see how will it shift. Will it get darker? Then we get a different kind of dark, you know, a different kind of brown. Let's try and just make a step out of that brown and see, is it worth exploring for a potential skin tone? I don't know. Let's put a little bit more yellow into this. It's still the yellow color, so I keep working in this direction here with my squares. This might be, with white added, a potential skin tone mix. So can you see in the way that I'm using this paper right here, it's very easy for me to see that I'm working with this pan. This is the pan added white. This is the pan where I'm working with this color here. Now the red, now the yellow. So if I had this in a binder, I could flip through it and see what kind of skin tones can I get if I introduce the purple pan into my mix. So that was what I actually had in mind for my video today. You know, like give a tool like this. Okay, now for the most interesting part is that how can we manipulate with the value of the purple by adding in the blue colors that we have. And I got two blues. I got this kind of teal looking blue, so I'm just gonna put that. I can't even see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna put that teal here and then mix it into the purple. You know, purple is made out of red and blue together, so by adding the blue colors to the purple, what do we get? Oh, this was unexpected. It reminds me totally of that eel color, you know, in the sushi roll palette. You know, this color down here in the sushi roll. That's likable. Let's immediately put some white into that and see what happens. Yeah. Okay, I am so out of frame. Let me put the camera a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, do you see the color combination I got here? It's totally this pan right here from the sushi roll. Okay, let's try and do the same drill but with the other blue. So now we're trying it with this blue here. I think I need a little bit more of the blue. That was a little bit too much. This is why I think you need a mixing palette on this side when you're doing this, because you can't be sure to hit what your intention is in the first get-go. I think I'm getting actually the same sort of, just with a bluer, more blue. But it's beautiful. I mean, it's pretty. Let me put some white in that. I actually think that the lavender color is beautiful made like this. Like you mix in some blue to the purple and then some white, and then you get a very beautiful lavender color with a bluish tint to it. So that was super, super nice. But maybe you can see the madness of this drill right here. Like it could be more interesting to play with the, for instance, this teal color here. I want to see what happens if I mix together the green with the teal. Like, can I get a different step out of a teal? Can it get like turquoise? Okay, let's chase a turquoise. I think what I first would try and mix in might be, I got a dark green in the palette. Like this. And then mix with this color here. Let's put it down. It changed. It changed into something a little bit more turquoise, but not like completely. Put in some white in that. Yeah, white didn't do anything fantastic. Let's try and do a oversaturation of this green color here. So now we got like a lot of green in there. And then just a smidgen of this. It's pretty, it's pretty. Let's try and put a little bit more blue in that. Yeah, if you think this is too dark in mass tone, you definitely can benefit from putting a little bit of the green in it and get a more lighter. It's almost like the Sleeping Beauty from Daniel Smith. I like that. Okay, let's introduce the yellow to this teal and see what kind of green it would produce. So I put yellow here and then the rest on my palette, and then I just start adding in. That's a very unlikable green. I don't know, it's like a dead chrome oxide green. I put more yellow in it. It's definitely more fun green. Let's be like super crazy with a bunch of yellow into this. I don't think that I need to do step out of these greens. I kind of can see what I can get. And because I got like two big chunks of this in my palette here, I'm just gonna mix it together and just for fun to see what else do I get. I get this green here. Oh, it's actually likable. I like this green here. Yeah, I could work with that green. That's nice. Now I want to add some orange to it. That's gonna be a killer. A bit more orange. Because blue and orange are complementary, so they should go like muddy when they're mixed together. Here I got too much blue, so I need to add in more orange. Now we're starting to get that neutral tone. This is actually not a bad, kind of looking like an olive. Yeah, that's actually not bad. I like that. Okay, let's put a little bit more blue into that and see if we can make it a darker. Oh, look at this. Look at this. It's like an army green. Yeah, isn't it interesting? Just by adding orange, you can suddenly convert your teal palette into these green tones here. And I'm adding a little bit more of the teal. I'm pushing it. See what I get. I get this really strange green, but for some reason I think that that strange green might have potential mixed with white. Yeah, look, that is beautiful. As a pastel color, hands down, that was a beautiful pastel. Okay, if we take the color red and mix with the teal, do we get something that looks like purple? So let's try it out. There was like too much teal. I think I get a beautiful maroon color. I like this. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna dry up looking nice, but so far I really like this color here. It's like a terracotta red, like a warm reddish brown. Let me put some white in it so you can see it better. And remember, when you're putting white, put it underneath the swatch so you still can navigate. It's a funky color. It's a funky color. Okay, let's put more blue in it and see how is it with there is just a smidgen of the red in it. Wow. Then you get something that is like a petrol. I think that would look awesome in a pastel too. Yeah. As a light color, this is beautiful. It's like a dark petrol. Now I got the green up here where the orange is and the red up here on my palette, and just for fun I'm gonna mix them together because I'm gonna wipe off my palette and clean it anyway, so I might as well just have some playtime and see what I get. And this color that I created here is between these two, so I'm just gonna make it in a stripe. It's an undescribable petrol color, I would call it. But yeah, not totally useless. In the sushi roll, I think that green right there could be found here when you mix the orange with the teal. I'm in doubt whether this color right here also is the same as that right there. Let me try and swatch that out. I actually think it is. Okay, look, I'm gonna put it next to it. Yeah, it really is. It is. So right now I can see that these two pans here are able to be made out of the rainbow cake. Yeah, this is fun. I don't know if you guys think that this is fun. For me it's fun because it's like a treasure chest. You know, you have like one palette and then magically you can create new colors from it. So if some of these pans were convenience pans in that palette, they still would motivate me to buy the palette because of a beautiful convenience color. So, but maybe you get the gist of this. Okay, when you're painting Jane Davenport girls, it's important to have skin tones. So I'm thinking about, let's explore the yellow, the red, and the orange and see what kind of skin tones can we actually get. So what I want to do is to make mud. So the complementary color for the orange could be the blue, this blue here. And we learned that this blue is the same pigment in the two other blues, so we only need to test one of them. So let's just pump it up with orange, and we need to do a bunch of step outs in white. First we get this. And then when we add white to that, to brighten it up, we get this skin tone right here. Now I'm looking at Jane's palette. I definitely can recognize this skin tone here from that here from the food truck. I wonder if I can get it as dark as she has gotten by mixing in more colors. So we know that if we mix the red, the yellow, and the blue, we will get hopefully a black color. So we already got the red and the blue and the yellow in this orange mix right here. Okay, that sounds confusing. Orange is a mix of red and yellow, and then we added the blue, so we are having a batch here that we can pull back and forth with red and yellow. I think that is how I'm gonna frame it. So first I put in red, and then I start putting in the blue, and now I got a sort of a dark color, but not dark enough. I'm gonna put in a little bit of orange in that. And orange is warming up the blue, so it gets this brownish tone instead of this black tone. Then I got this. And I got red in there. So I think I'm gonna put some red color right there, just to remember remind myself that I got red in this mix here. Now I'm curious, can I get a black? I'm gonna put that down here. I think this is as dark as this palette can give me when it comes to a black color. And how I got that was by mixing in the orange, the red, and the blue. That gave me that. I actually think that you can make like put a little bit of white to it, and then you can clear it up a little bit to like a paint grayish color. You get a gray toned. So that's nice to know. But we're chasing the brown. I'm putting in more orange to this. A little bit more orange maybe. Just for the fun of it, since I got this mess on the palette, I want to play and put in some green in it and see what I get. Nope, don't like that color at all. Now I think I contaminated this too much. I'm gonna wipe it off so I don't play more with that. But that's how you play, you know, like you just invite other colors. It doesn't have to be like only two colors that you're mixing with. You can invite a third color if you want to. But we're chasing skin tone. Now I want to take the red color and see what kind of skin tone can we get by using the orange also. So I'm putting in orange to this. I think I actually need some yellow for that. So I'm gonna introduce yellow. We get a different kind of orange, but it's still got potential. Let's add some white to that. Can you see when you add white to that orange, you can get that cream looking? So that's a nice one. I want to see now what happens if I take the orange and then do the same, but this time not using the red but the more cooler magenta over here. Just doing the exact same thing, a little bit of magenta in it, and then a little bit of yellow. Then I get this kind of orange. And if I add white to that, I get this skin tone here, more like a pinky flesh. Yeah, it's so discriminating that they call this flesh in many tube sets, but that's kind of the cool pinkish flesh tone that you can find in some tube sets. Yeah, good learning curve. You know what? I think we're gonna add some blue. We're gonna try and add some blue into those two mixes and see if it changes the value. And now it's turning green, but you just have to keep on adding the orange and the red until you hit something that you think is getting a neutral tone. So if we work with this even more by adding in the blue, you can get this color here. Not bad for a shading area in a portrait. And let's do the same with the mix we have over here, because it's right there on the palette. So first we get something that looks greenish, but then you just need to add more orange to it to kind of muddy it down, and keep adding orange until you feel that it kind of get close to some sort of a neutral tone. And if you add too much orange, you can always step it up with the other colors. Then I get a tone that looks like this. That's a strange one. Let's put in some white in that and see if it's something you could work with in a face. I don't know. It's a little bit pale. It's like a Titan buff, actually. But a sheet like this could be nice to have in a color swatching book, right? You know, when you try to find skin tones. Okay, I got a lot of colors down here, so I'm just gonna wipe them off. Okay, let's say that I had this palette in front of me and I needed to make a skin tone. I would definitely take some yellow. Then I would take a bit of the red. Oh, that was too strong. More yellow. Yeah, you know what? If I had like the red and I worked just with the yellow pan, I could get this color here, but in a watered down rendition of it, it would be this sheer color that I think you could glaze and layer with. But let's, for fun, just add white to this puddle here, because my experience is that you don't really glaze with Jane Davenport's layer cakes. You don't water them down so much that you're actually glazing with them. But here I get like a salmon color skin tone. Yeah, I think that's what I would pick if it was me. Let's for fun just add this teal to this orange pile and see what we get. So first I want to go green, and then I'm going to put in more red because the red is the color that I'm investigating now. Then I want to become this. That is a fun one. Okay, I'm going to put this here. So what I got right there, stepped out with some white. Is this mauve burgundy, and the way I got it was that I took some red, I took some yellow, and I took some teal. Yeah, I definitely think that you can get skin tones out of the rainbow cake set. Got the papers here, but you have to sit and do a lot of mixes. I'm afraid that this video is taking up too much time. I think you get the gist of it, but I'm gonna upload it anyway, even though it's a super long video, just to show how you can sit and have a play session with your colors, and then at the same time create some swatch sheets that you can include in your color swatch journal. I already forgot what let me check. I think Jane called it her encyclopedia. It's just a catalog of your colors. And I would say that we worked our way through this rainbow layer cake palette in a nice way and got to know this palette better now because we did all these swatches. So we learned some things about the blue colors. We also learned how we can get some skin tones, and we also learned how black is the black that you can get. Like this is not like black. Let me just take a black one and swatch it out next to it so you can see how dark a lamp black is. Like this is lamp black. And that's why it matters sometimes if you cannot get a super dark black in your palette, because sometimes when we are creating and painting something, it lacks contrast, and I think it's because we sometimes are not able to get a really saturated dark by mixing. Especially those people who are saying that we should work with limited colors, so we need to mix our own black out of what we have in the painting. I would say that yes, it would look harmonious if you mixed your own dark out of this palette here, but it will never be a dark value black. Okay, let's just for fun take all the colors. That's a very reddish, so if I put in some green, and maybe back to the blue. Now it's like bluish. Let me put in some orange to see if I can tone the blue in a different direction. Now it's dark olive. That's green. Okay, let me just work it all up. This purple here, that seems to be like a dark color. Now I'm just throwing in all the colors from the palette to see how dark can I get this. I think the blue is the one who is the deal breaker to get it dark. But you know what? It's still not black. It's like a dark, cool gray. If this was the cap of a Copic marker, it would be like a high number of a cool gray. But it's definitely not black. Let me swatch down underneath that a black line. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because it's one of my own findings, you know, when I'm working with small palettes. I just find that I think it's difficult to get a really dark, saturated black color. But okay, it might be me, you know, not doing it right. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that this was worth watching, even though it's a really jumpy way of just trying out the colors in this palette, like jumping from things to things. But I really adore the idea of having a binder with some plastic sheets, so you can slide in stuff like this and have it as a tool, so you can have like a quick view of what happens to this color if I play with these colors in conjunction with that. What do I get? So maybe just by looking at, let's just say these two sheets here, if you're chasing something, you can get ideas just like the color cube, you know, like, oh, if I play with this palette here, I can make these colors. So yeah, I think I should end this now so it doesn't get too long. Thank you for watching. I wish you a continuous World of Watercolor Month joy. So get out there and paint a lot with watercolors. Bye bye.